There are two reasons, basically, why you may feel guilty. And it's either you think you hurt someone else, or you think you've hurt yourself. Right? And I say you think you've hurt yourself, or you think you've hurt someone else, because the past doesn't exist. Neither does the future. There's only the now. In fact, science has proven that a good amount of our memories are actually false. So, a lot of times, especially if you've hurt someone else, you have an idea based off of what you felt at that moment of how they felt, what their experience was, and how you've hurt them. But really, that's just an idea you hold inside your mind. You have no idea. You have no clue how you actually affected them. You have no clue what the truth could possibly be, because honestly, you have to understand that there is just the now. And not only is there just the now, there's also infinite possibilities, alternates of what you can experience. I was listening to a Bashar channeling yesterday that kind of dove into this topic, and I think it's going to be life-changing for me because he talked about how time is an illusion, and it's just the constant shifting through possible realities, through possibilities that gives us this illusion of time, right? And I'll tie this back into forgiveness in a second, right? But you're constantly shifting, and it's your attention that shifts you into that reality of what you believe you will experience. What you accept as true is what will form in your reality. That is the experience you'll have. It truly is all subjective. So if you are having ideas in your mind about the past, about how you may have hurt someone, those are fundamentally not true. That person isn't you, because that person doesn't exist. That person who hurt someone else, that person who hurt themselves, they don't exist. There's only you now. Right now, in this moment. Nothing else exists. So I spent a lot of time being very self-destructive growing up, and I think the older I get, I realize that I'm always being self-destructive to a certain extent. We always end up choosing things that we know are not going to be good for us, and yet we do them anyway, right? It happens a lot. I shouldn't say always, because it's not always. It happens a lot. But you have to understand that that's not you. That's not me. That person who hurt themselves over and over and over learned so much and turned into someone else. So it's important to, I guess my message here is just, it's very important to let go. Because the past fundamentally does not exist. It's only in your mind. And you're hung up on it. You're thinking of this person that doesn't actually exist. You have this image in your mind of who you were back then and who you hurt or how you hurt yourself, when that is literally a different you than you are now. And now is all that exists. Let me just say it again. Now is all that exists. So, you have that picture of the past person, but if you were in the same situation as the person you are now, would you still act the same? Absolutely not, right? You learned so much since then. Whatever happened, whatever you're blaming yourself for, guilt is useless. Because you're not that person anymore. And it's important to just keep moving. Keep moving forward. Don't focus on something that doesn't exist. Think about what you want to create, what you want to do. Because that is what exists. Well, sort of. The now is what exists. And the sooner you let go of those past things, the sooner I let go. When I started to let go of like guilt, essentially, things changed so much for me. Because I was holding in my mind this idea that, I've lived my whole life as a self-destructive failure, because I was thinking of all the past self-destruction I had engaged in and failures I had had. But I had to realize that's not me. You have the choice now. You always have the choice. That's what we are. We're choosers. You always have the choice now to be a different person. And I also got very hung up on, for a long time, how I hurt someone. And it was like, I'm sure I've hurt people without even knowing it, to be honest, but this is someone I really, truly cared about deep down. But I was not in a good place. I was hurting myself. I was hurting them. And I held on to that for so long. But you have to realize, like, there's a reality where that person that you hurt chose to see that as a lesson they've learned and are literally thanking you. And they've already forgiven you. So why can't you forgive yourself? Even, it's difficult sometimes, I get it. Like, even throughout the day, like, I didn't eat as healthy as I wanted to. Oh no, that's not me. That's in the past. I only have the choice right now to choose. So that's why it's important to really become more present and aware. Because that's how you let go of bullshit. Essentially shit that does not exist. Your past and your future. And often we have these ideas of all these past failures we've had, and those create the failures of our future. Because we think that's who we are now. But we have a choice now to be someone different. We always do. And sometimes, a lot of times, most of the time, a lot of our choices are unconscious, right? We just automatically do them. But as we become more aware of those, we grow, and it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to do the things that you know you need to do to get to where you want to be, but it's through that we grow, right? And so it may be uncomfortable to let go of guilt. I'm going to say that again because I think that's something that I did not realize I was experiencing. I wasn't letting go of guilt because I was comfortable feeling guilty. It felt normal to me. It felt like me. I was the failure who always did the wrong thing, who went down the wrong path, who wasn't good enough to be good for people. So it was uncomfortable to change that about myself because I wasn't familiar with it, right? But then you get out on the other side and life is just so much better. Guilt is a useless emotion. You just gotta seriously let it go because it doesn't exist. If you're feeling guilty about hurting yourself, that is probably even dumber about than feeling guilty about hurting someone else. Because if you feel guilty about hurting someone else, like, I get it. Like, you have this idea of what they're thinking about the situation, and it's easier to, like, think that idea exists. I hope I'm explaining this right. Than to just know what you felt when you hurt yourself, and know that that's just an uncomfortable feeling and you don't want to feel that anymore, and you're continuing to feel it by feeling guilt because guilt is fucking hurting you. No matter if it's someone else, like, yeah, you may have hurt them, they probably moved past it quicker than you are, bruh. So anyway, that's my little message for today. Just move forward with your life. There's no point holding on to anything that doesn't exist. Hold on to the now. Because that's where life is, right? That is where we encounter God. Is right now, in this moment. You are me, and we are infinite. Peace.